Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here with everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sure if you're on the Pacific Coast, it's a little early. Well, I guess for you guys in your normal life on a non-Friday, this isn't really early. This will be right at the start of your day. Go ahead and in the chat box area there. I'd love to know who you are and where you're tuning in from. So go ahead and put your name and where you're tuning in from, so people can say hi to you. You can see if you got fellow people on that you know, that you went to school with, or that you've met at different events. Go ahead and put your name and chat in there right there. I'd love to see who is here. We got a nice amount of people here. Let's see. Looking forward to it. All right. Naperville. All right. Austin. Sweet. Canada. Hey, Canadians. That's awesome. Hey, Dr. Askler and Janelle. Hey, Janelle's the bomb. Buffalo, New York, Sacramento, Washington, North Carolina. Wow. Massachusetts. More Canadians. All right, they're invading, guys. We got to got Oregon, Louis, Atlanta. Awesome. Keep them coming. Kansas City. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Well, you guys, I'm excited to be here and spend some time with you. We're going to kind of go through some things a little quickly because I have probably prepared way too much to talk about, which is something that I normally do. And as you can tell, this is a little bit different than a normal webinar, if you will. I'm not a fan of traditional ways of doing things like with the PowerPoint and all that stuff. And yeah, keep putting your names in there. I love seeing their Minnesota, Dave. Make sure you keep putting your names in there. And this is going to be more of a teaching experience. This is going to be something that hopefully you're going to be able to take a lot of notes with. So make sure you get a pen and a pad of paper down and take some notes. I'm not going to go too deep into a ton of things, but hopefully I'm going to give you just enough things that will help you really tip the scales in the favor of your success. And that's what I really am all about. Before we get started, I want to ask you a question. How many of you remember these books here? And hopefully you can see that there on my camera there. These are the Choose Your Own Adventure books. And I want to ask you, what do you think that dental monitoring, this book, this type of book, and this domino have in common? And today I'm going to answer that question for you because I believe that there's a great connection between all of them. And let me tell you a little bit about what our agenda is going to be today before I go into introduce myself a little bit. Excuse me. Is that first we're going to go through some ideas and processes that I believe are going to help you see your business in a whole new light. I have a special guest interview that we're going to bring on, and then we're going to wrap that up and then do some Q&A. So please make sure as you're going through this process with me today, as we're taking our time to spending our time together, that you are present and that you are focused. I know it's so easy because I'm speaking from experience. It's so easy to have Facebook up over here and see what's going on Facebook and scrolling on your phone and looking at, maybe you're following me on my TikToks and you're seeing how awesome my TikToks are, or maybe Janelle Baum's TikToks out there. And it's easy to get distracted. And there's distraction all around us. Maybe you're at home and you've got the kids and you're trying to cook breakfast and take care of the kids at the same time. And I'm just going to ask you that for just the next few minutes that we're together, just to focus and be present. I believe that being present is the greatest gift that you can give to anybody in your life. And right now, I want you to give that to yourself, because maybe I'm going to just say one little thing that's going to give you a new spark inside of your brain. It's going to help you think about what you do in your business a little differently. Maybe you're going to hear a question from somebody else on this chat, and they are going to bring up a maybe you never thought about before, or they're going to get an answer that is really going to help you in all aspects of your life. So speaking of questions, if you do have a question, please feel free to use that during use the Q&A part. Now, right now, a lot of you guys are putting where you're coming from and where you're tuning in from in the chat part of the Zoom. But right below me here, wherever that is on your screen, you're also going to see a Q&A. Go ahead and ask your questions in there, and those are being monitored so we can make sure that those are being seen. And I believe Tracy is watching those. Somebody, sorry, And turn off your cell phones. There you go. There's a good example for Dino right now. Turn off your cell phones if you have your cell phones on, so you can be totally present. And Tracy is monitoring those questions, and we'll get to those questions definitely by the end of our time here. So who am I? My name is Dino Watt, and I'm not a consultant. I know that's weird to hear because that's what a lot of people say, and that's a lot of people, a lot of people use consultant as what they do. I am a practice coach, right? My goal is always to give people a new perspective on what's possible for you and for your business and how to think about the evolution of your business. Now, in life, again, I'm not a rep for dental monitoring. I'm doing this as a favor. I'm not being paid to do this. I was just having a conversation with dental monitoring and said, these are some of the things that I see can help out in the evolution of everyone's practice. And we had a great conversation. They said, hey, will you share those thoughts and ideas with, our audience? And I said, absolutely, I will. But I just want to be clear. I'm not a consultant. I'm a coach. And what does that mean? It means that my goal, if you were ever in any type of baseball and you had third base coach, that first base coach, right? They were there to tell you when to go. I know you're good at what you do. I know you can hit the ball, right? I know you can run. But there are times where you need somebody else outside of your jar to say, you know what, maybe you should be looking at it this way. Hey, take care take a look at this and see if you see this a different way. And that's my job. I spend the majority of my days learning from businesses outside of this industry. I am in a lot of different masterminds with people who are not in this industry so that I can glean those ideas and bring those to my clients, because I want to help you where you are and get where you want to be. I don't have specific systems and processes on this is how you answer a phone or this is how you do a collections, which all those are great and fine. What I do have is a lot of knowledge to help people get what they want, which is a question we're going to be talking about in just a moment. Feel free, if you haven't already, I'd love to have you follow me on Instagram. I give away a lot of great tips and ideas and business there. TikTok, if you're into seeing Dino be silly and dance is what I love to do, with some great ideas on your business as well. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Facebook. That would be really, really great. But what I do is I help forward-thinking practice owners magnify their leadership, unify their teams, and amplify their culture. That's what I do every single day. And that's what I spend all of my time studying. And that's why when I find different products or programs that can help clients that are personal clients of mine, or anyone in general that will listen to me, help them improve their business and improve their life, that's what I'm going to get behind. So my mission is really to help you be more proactive, productive, and profitable in all areas of your life and business. If you've heard me on my podcast, you know that's kind of like, that's what I say a lot at the end of my podcast is I want you to help you be more proactive, profitable, and profitable inside of your life and business. And that's why I do what I do. But let me tell you really what my true why is in life, because I think if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then you need to stop doing it right now and figure that out. And I actually coach people on how to find out truly what their why is and what their why operating system is. And so I'm very clear on what my why is. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here today. My why in life is to contribute to a greater cause. Now, that greater cause might be your business. It could be dental monitoring. It could be to the world at large. It could be to specifically your marriage or how you feel about yourself. But I do that, how I do that is I simplify complex ideas and processes. And today I hope to do just that for you, to break some things down for you and help you see things in a different light. What I do is I actually build relationships of trust with one another and help people build a relationship with trust with themselves. Listen, being an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of trust. And it takes a lot of trust, especially in your position. If you're watching this right now and you're owning a practice, like who taught you how to own a practice, right? And what part of school did you go through that they actually taught you how to be a true business owner? Not just how to run a business, but how to deal with multiple personalities in your office, how to communicate differently with the people in your office. Those are things that take a lot of trust in yourself to learn how to do beyond schooling you already have. And so that's what I'm all about and helping you do. So we talked about our agenda and what we're going to do today. But as we get started, I always like to start things off with an intention. And so I want to ask you a question. And this is a question that I believe is the most important question that we can ask ourselves in life in general and all aspects of our life. And this question, I want you to hold it in your mind while we're going through what we're going to go through today. I want you to ponder over it for just a little bit. I'm not looking for a knee-jerk answer. I'm not looking for, just the first thing that pops up, because it's really important for you to be clear on this. It's a question that I believe is really the most important out of any question out there. I'm actually going to ask you to write this down. Go ahead and take your pen and your piece of paper and write this down. I'll wait. And I want you to write it down just as I ask it. Okay. What do I want? Question mark. I want you to really think about that for just a moment. If I were to ask the question this way, what do I want? Like you're thinking, Dino, no. What do you want? What do I want? That's why I want you to write down exactly that way. What do you truly want? Do you want a business that gives you more time, freedom, and happiness? Do you not? Now, listen, this is important. A lot of people start talking or thinking about the things they don't want. Well, I don't want to have to deal with Sally in the office because she's a pain in the butt. Well, I don't want to have to deal with clients who don't like me. No. What you don't want is not what we're talking about. What you do want is key, because once you figure out what you want in your business, you can reverse engineer that. It might take some time. It might take some it might be necessary to get some help. Most likely it is, but you have to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, why would people follow you? Why would people continue to want to be behind you and support you in that when you don't know what you want? I want to tell you a story. A few years ago, I was in Hawaii. I was with my family. And I decided to, well, we all decided to take a surfing lesson. I'd never been surfing before in my life. I grew up in Southern California and never went surfing. And I decided I wanted to go surfing. And as I was trying to catch a wave, I kept missing it, right? I did what they said, where I'd paddle really, really, really hard. I was getting exhausted. If any of you have been surfing before or tried surfing, it is tiring, right? Not just the back and forth of the waves, but trying to catch onto that wave. And I had a surfing instructor, come up to me and he said, Dino, let me give you a little secret. Most people try to start paddling really, really hard with their arms once they feel the wave is kind of right at their feet or underneath them. And that's why you're missing the wave. However, the secret is you need to look behind yourself. And when the wave, or you can see the wave about 10, 15, 20 feet behind you, that's when you start paddling before the wave even catches you. Now, some of you have heard me tell that story before. And the reason why I tell the story is because it is so relevant to where we are today. We are in a space in our industry where there is a wave right behind us that is going to overcome you and pass you if you don't start paddling now. In some instances, I believe you should have started paddling about 8 months ago. However, you can still be paddling and catch the wave. You see, there's an evolution happening, and that evolution is going to be either you're going to watch it and be frustrated that you didn't hop on when you did and try to play catch up, or you're going to be somebody who is going to get out of your comfort zone and focus on actually moving and paddling now. So this is something that I teach with a lot of people, and I think it's so important to realize inside of your business, which is what I just talked about, which is your comfort zone. So most of us live inside the zone where we believe the thing we want, whether it be a great relationship, whether it be a better body, whether it be saving a lot of money, whether it be being a better leader, we believe that that thing is over here. We've tried things, right? We've been here in our comfort zone. We've gotten and went to a seminar, or we read a book, or we did something, but something got in the way. Time, convenience, life got in the way, and it started pain in your life. It created something. I use the analogy because it's pretty easy for all of us to understand. Every single one of us is hopefully at one point in our life had a workout, like we went and worked out. So let's just say this is Dino on the couch deciding he's going to get in shape, right? And to me, getting in shape is way out here. Let's even say it's extreme. Dino's going to get 6-pack abs. way out here. I know I don't have them now. You didn't have to look at your screen and go, nope, doesn't happen. I know I don't have them, but let's just say it is all the way out here. I get off the couch and I go and I work out. I go to the gym, I get a trainer. And about 3 days in, I hit this moment right here, which is the ouch moment, right? You've all been there. You've gone to the gym after not going in a while. You go and you do a good workout and you're fine the next day. But the third day is when you're like, why can I not walk? It hurts just to squat. Every part of me hurts. And the older you get, the worse it is, right? For those of you out there that are with me. This actually is a technical term here called perturbation. It's where it is to perturb. And this is the moment where our brain makes a decision where we're either going to push past that and grow, or we're going to go back on the couch and say, maybe next year, maybe next time. And here's the secret. The cool part about it is that in truth, in reality, the secret to your success is not having to get all the way out here. The secret to your success is to get just right there, just on the other side of ouch, because that's where growth happens in your life and in your business and your relationships and every other place. So right now, it's a little uncomfortable. You just went through COVID and those challenges, and hopefully, like many of my clients, that you had great years this last couple of 2 years, and you've probably seen a little bit of a slowdown going on right now inside of your practice. Hiring and finding the right people has been a challenge for a lot of people, and there are some reasons behind that we probably can't get into right now. But you're in a place where it's uncomfortable. It's going, okay, how do we get back into reality or normalcy? But number two is, I don't want to mess things up. And this is where a lot of people hold back in their business. Things are going okay. I know I should be doing this thing, but I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to have to work any harder. I don't want to have to change things up. I'm going to get pushback from my family or my friends or my team members. And so we stay comfortable. And what I'm going to ask you to do is be a little uncomfortable by looking at where can you improve in your business. You see, you have to really understand what's going on in the pulse of the world now. There are 3 things happening right now that are really, really crucial for business owners to understand. Number one is that there are definitely more challenges, but challenges bring a lot of opportunity. We can't ignore the challenges. We can't just complain and put our arms up. Oh, it's really hard to hire people. Okay, well, what are you going to do to change that up? How are you going to change up the way that you're finding people? Are you going to train your team members on how to look for the right people and how to engage in those conversations? Are you going to focus on role playing so that they know what to say and when to say it? Have you been clear on who you're looking for as the right fit person inside of your office? Are you going to change the way that you pay people? Are you going to give them more options to say yes to you? So definitely there's more challenges. That's number one. Number two, the pulse of the world. Number two, there are more choices and options for people. And that's part of the challenges. Right now, people are seeing more choices, but they're also demanding more choices. Listen, the fact of the matter is that you have some huge competitors in your market right now. When it comes to a Smile Direct Club or Candid or any of those ones, you have competition and they're there. And the whole reason why they're succeeding is because they're giving people choices and people want more choices. Here's the secret. By the way, if you have not gone through Smile Direct Club's process, you're missing out. Like, I do this often. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand here or to admit it here, but when I'm speaking, oftentimes, especially when I'm speaking specifically to doctors, I will ask, how many of you or your marketing directors have actually gone through the Smile Direct Club process, where you've literally gone through, put your name in there, sent them your pictures, matter of fact, even paid to have their product sent to you? And every time I get zero people raise their hand. Now, maybe you're going to surprise me and somebody's going to say, I've done it. Great. I've done it. I personally have done the entire process. I wore the aligners for 4 months. I let them totally mess up my teeth because I wanted to be able to speak to the actual process. I paid the $1,200 to have those aligners sent to me. I didn't have major work needing to be done, which that's one of the challenges, is that it messed up my teeth when they weren't that bad to begin with. But why I did that was because I wanted to know the competition. By the way, their follow-up process, their graphics, their engagement is killer. You could learn, it's like a master class. Because why? Because they're spending billions of dollars on how to make sure they're engaging with their client or their potential client. Well, guys, use their research, see what they're doing, copy how they're doing it, and make it better for you. Okay, but the reason why they're successful is because that's what people want, is more choice. And the third thing, that's the pulse of the world that people want right now, is more connection. To feel like they're connected. It's actually, there was a survey that was done. There's a, oh man, it's gonna slip my brain right now. He is a researcher from, I wanna say Harvard, if I'm not, if I'm not mistaken. Gosh, I hate it when you have those moments, right, where it just slips your brain. But he went out and he did a kind of a whistle stop tour around the country and just wanted to see what is the problem with most people in their life. Like, what are the biggest challenges that people have? And the number one challenge is disconnection. People are more disconnected now than they've ever been. So people are seeking some way to connect. And I believe that you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, have a responsibility to help people overcome their challenges, give them more choice, and help them feel connected. Because if you do that, you separate yourself from the herd. And I'm going to talk about how important that is in just a moment. So just so you understand my mindset and my philosophy around business ownership, and why being able to use things that are game changers in your business that separate you, like a dental monitoring process, why that's important is it's important for you to understand where I'm coming from. So I believe that there's actually 3 ways that people lead a business, or they actually they lead their business, or how they are as entrepreneurs. There you go. 3 ways people are as entrepreneurs. The first way is that they live in a world of disdain. I call this my 3 Ds. So the first is disdain, meaning that it's everybody else's fault. Their mindset is it's the government, it's the president, it's where my location is, it's I have competition, it's Smile Direct Club, it's all these things that is everybody else's fault, is why you are not being successful in your business, why you are not getting what you want out of your business. And you live in this space of complete blame. And the problem is that if you're in blame mode, you are being a passive victim, and you cannot find victory in that whatsoever, because no one's going to hand it to you. Right. But this is where you hear a lot of people, maybe some of you have been in that place before, and it's perfectly okay. It's understandable that sometimes we get to that place. It's about recognizing where you are. So a lot of people sustain of like, I have no control. I get this all the time. This is my favorite. Dino, I did everything. No, you haven't. That's a lie. I guarantee you it's a lie, because you haven't tried everything. You've tried everything you could think of, maybe, or a lot of the things you've thought of, because you've thought of stuff that you thought, oh, that'd be crazy. People would be mad at me, or people would not like it if I did that. That's not what everybody else is doing. You've had those thoughts before. But when people say to me, Dino, I've tried everything, or my second favorite one is this, is you don't understand, Dino. You don't understand. It's like, boy, that's the height of ego right there. Like, you have more challenges and problems than everybody else in the world that ever has had and hasn't been able to overcome it. But that's a disdain person. The next way to run your business is through default. And this is the majority of people. Most of you out there are falling in default, where you are doing okay. You're making money. Your team's satisfied. They're not quitting on you, which is good. You know, you're doing decent. Here's the key phrase. Things are fine, or I can't complain. That's another great phrase. I can't complain. Who am I to complain? You're making money, and on the outside, like, people see you from the outside going like, yeah, they look like they're doing okay. But there's something inside of you that is thinking, this could be better. What can I do to make this better, to do better, to be better, to be more successful? It's going to take a little bit more effort. I'm tired. I'm worn out. I'm by myself. No one's supporting me. My spouse is going to kill me if I want to add one more thing. I don't have the time or the support or the energy to do that. That's where a default person is. And then lastly, and this is where I want us to really focus on today, is design. People who are in design, and you know these design people. These are the people who are just thriving on all cylinders. These are the people who you're just like, man, how are they doing this? How are they dedicating that time to do that? Which, by the way, that's the secret, right? You don't find time or make time or create time. You have to dedicate the time. So people who are in design are dedicating certain time. How do certain business owners like just get so much done? How do they look like they have so much more energy, or actually do have more energy? How are they satisfied, excited every single day? I believe that when you think through this process and you utilize tools like dental monitoring, you become more of a design business owner. And that's so important for you to do. So why you want to be in design now more than ever is really, really important. It's really key for you to realize that right now is that wave that you're seeing. It's time to start designing more, because there's a great opportunity in the world that you can capitalize on. Right now, people are desperately looking for 3 major things in order to make a buying decision. 3. The first is time. They want to find things that will help them have more time with the things they care about in their life, or that don't require them to spend their time on things that they don't care about. You see this in the workforce in a big way. So time. Number 2 is convenience. How can they get it without having to interrupt their life, without it being an effort for them? This is one of the brilliances behind Invisalign, right? It's because it's like, oh, here's the convenience. You don't have to have things on your teeth. It's actually some trays. All you got to do is take them out when you eat. Like, do you remember back in the day when I had braces? It was like you feared losing the retainer, taking something out, and not like you have something now in their mouth that they can have 24/7 or 22/7, I guess you could say, in their mouth, right? And they want that convenience. This is why dental monitoring actually is one of the reasons I first turned on to it. Was going, you guys, seriously, you're going to be able to help people throughout their journey, and it is a journey of their treatment, by just monitoring what's going, having them do the work. It's convenient for you. It's convenient for them. Oh, okay. Well, doctor's going to tell me when or when not to change out my aligners. Or, oh, we can see how well your hygiene is doing by you actually taking your pictures every single week. Like, using that is key, but people want that convenience. And the third thing people want is ease. Ease. So it's a great book called Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. And BJ Fogg has been researching at Stanford University now for over a decade how are habits really created. And I know some of you have probably read like things like Atomic Habits and The Power of Habit, both great books. But what BJ does in the book is he breaks down this understanding in very simple terms of the only way habits are created in our lives are if they're both motivated and easy to do, like easy time wise. Okay. So if somebody is motivated to do something, but it's not easy, they still won't do it. If it's easy to do, but they're not motivated, they won't do it. I don't mean to do that. They must be both. Okay. So your job is to help people feel like coming to you is going to save them time, make it convenient for them, and it's easy to do. But we've been in a bit of an archaic situation over the last, I don't know, 2 decades, 3 decades of, oh, no, you have to come into my office. You have to spend an hour of your time, which means an hour taking Junior out of school and then coming here, and maybe we're running behind. So it's an hour and 20 minutes. And then we got to take them back. So that's now 3.5 hours out of your life that you're going to have in order to get braces. That's not convenient. That's not giving people back their time, and that's not easy. So there's 2 key points to remember about your patients that I think you need to realize is that patients see you as, and I know this is going to hurt, like prepare yourself right now. Wherever you are right now, whether you're sitting or whatever you're doing, just kind of shake it off for a moment because this is going to hurt. I know it is. It's going to hurt. You are a commodity. Your patients see you as a commodity. Your job is to decommoditize what you do and make them see you as not a commodity, but as a necessity. And so in doing so, the only way to do that is not how you do the thing you do. It's not even what you do. It is the experience that you give them. It's not even customer service, it's customer experience. If you can win the customer experience game, you will dominate. And what is dental monitoring? Dental monitoring is a way to help people have a different, unique, and cool, if you will, exciting experience. That's why when you implement it into your practice, I see how you're saying, wow, look at, I'm going to show you something completely different. I know that doctor that you went to before, those other 5 doctors that you got, exams from, they told you you're going to have to be coming in every, 4 weeks or whatever. Well, we do things a little differently here. A little differently. 2 key points to remember as an entrepreneur that you need to recognize is that being an entrepreneur is about freedom. The more choice that you build into your business model, the happier you will be. See how that goes together? Your patients are looking for that time, convenience, and ease. They're looking at that experience. And so you get to build your business around the way you want to see your freedom lifestyle. You get to choose that. And then the second thing you have to remember as an entrepreneur is that it's about creativity. The more creative you can be, the more you will win the game. You see, there are actually no have-tos in business. As long as it's not illegal or immoral, you can do whatever you like. Even if you see other people doing it a certain way. This is the way it's, quote, always been done. So when I talk about this book here, you guys remember this book? This is the Choose Your Own Adventure books. When I was a kid, and you'll hear me talk about this in a moment too, but these actually scared me when I was a kid. I got to that place where it, it'd say like, okay, well, if you decide to travel with them in space and time, turn to page 90. If you decide to stay in Atlantis as a worker, turn to page 89. I would be so worried, I would get anxiety, because if you turn to 89 and then, oh, sorry, made the wrong decision, you're dead. So this would freak me out. But as I was talking to the people over at Dental Monitoring, we were having a little conversation last week. I was talking with David and Tracy, and I was saying, the thing that I really think is cool about things like dental monitoring is it's kind of like a choose your own adventure book. You get to do your own thing inside of it. You get to decide what path you want to take. Do you want to bring in more clients? Do you want to work more days and expand how many people you can see, because now you can spread out how often you're seeing them? Cool. Do you want to pull back and have more time with your family, but still know you're keeping that quality of care up? Cool. Like, that's where dental monitoring comes in. So the entire purpose of being an entrepreneur, in my opinion, is that you get to choose your own adventure. You get to choose the marketplace you want to work in. You get to choose the type of clients you want to work with. You get to choose where you want to work and who you want to work with. And when you add opportunities, which I believe things like dental monitoring are opportunities. They're not tools, they're opportunities. They're opportunities. When you add opportunities inside of your business, then you actually get to have more choice and you have more freedom. That's what I love about this idea. Now, the other side of that is this domino. Okay. So how many of you guys remember, some of you are probably not old enough to remember this, but most of you I think are. There was a show back in the 80s called That's Incredible. And on That's Incredible, every once in a while, they would have somebody on where they were a domino artist, right? Where they would spend hours, sometimes days, creating this pattern with their dominoes. And it usually have some sort of swirl or some sort of burst or whatever. But there was one I remember was in a gymnasium, and it took up the entire gym. And they would spend hours and days doing this thing. And then, the anticipation was concern of what if one knocked over in the middle of it or 3/4 of the way in. And every once in a while, they'd see that happen. They build up the drama by somebody accidentally just touched one 3/4 of the way in. And so they had to start that portion over again. But the drama and the anticipation was, will it work? And what they would do is they would go over to the very, very or start of the domino pattern, and they'd have this one domino there. And they'd ever so slightly just touch the one domino to make it fall over. And then that would start the pattern, and it would be revealed to you. And sometimes there'd be a message revealed. Sometimes you would just see the pattern in a different way because now the colors are more vibrant or it's spread out more. You sat there and anticipated and saw this amazing thing happen right in front of your eyes. Well, here's the deal. In your life, you've had dominoes. You've had the one thing that has made you see things in a different way. You've had the one thing that could answer a whole bunch of different questions. You've had the one thing that if you just used it correctly and just tipped it at the right time. And look, you've already spent the time in your life building what the pattern. This is why I ask you to ask the question, what do you want? Because then you can actually build that pattern. You've gone to the school, you've done the training, you've done the homework to be able to know what you want. I get that. And that's hopefully why you can come up with that answer. And this is the domino to tip it over. Maybe there was a book that you read that you went, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Maybe it was a profession that you had in your life. Maybe it was an incident that was an inciting incident in your life, or a family member, or maybe just a simple video on YouTube, maybe a TED Talk. Whatever it was, you've had dominoes in your life. You've had dominoes you to where you are right now. I'm going to bring this all together in just a moment. But before we do, I want to pause. And I want you to just take a moment and write down on your piece of paper, just what's been a domino in your life. When it comes to your life itself, what are some dominoes that you've had? Did you have somebody who made you see your life in a totally different manner? Did you read a book? What was that domino? I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to let you write down one or two dominoes and put what that was. Maybe it was a domino for your finances. Maybe it was a domino for the outlook of your life. Maybe it was a domino for your marriage. What was the one thing that, because that happened, everything else turned out the way it was supposed to? So I believe that dental monitoring and what it can do, if you look at the opportunities, that it can be a domino in your life, a domino that can help you totally change the game inside of your business, can help you overcome all the things I talked about earlier, which were understanding how you can give back to your team or your clients the time, their convenience, and their ease. And more importantly, give you the freedom that you're seeking for in your business, give you the feeling of being a true entrepreneur that is in control of every aspect of your business. I believe that if you use it correctly, you can have all those things, but I don't want you to take my word for it. What I did is I asked dental monitoring, the folks over there, I said, hey, can you tell me about somebody in your and who's using dental monitoring that has seen a major shift in the way that they actually see their practice, that they've had this aha moment, that they've seen now dental monitoring as a domino? And they said, yep, let me give you some people to talk to. And so I actually pre-recorded an interview with Dr. Bill Dischinger. And some of you know him. I think he's up in Washington or Oregon. He's somewhere up in the Pacific Northwest. And he and I sat down and had a conversation. So I'm going to play for you this interview that I had with him. It's about 20 minutes long. And I just want you to listen to his experience. Now, he's been doing this now for just 6 months. And I want you to see the difference it's made in his life through using this one domino and having the ability to choose his own adventure when it comes to being a business owner. Let me get you over here. I want to make sure, you know what, I'm going to need to see. Let me know in the chat if the sound is not working. If it is working, we're great. For our webinar, I know we pre-recorded this so that you could be out lecturing and talking and singing the praises around dental monitoring. So we're really grateful you're able to do this. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for accommodating the time change. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, you and I have had an opportunity actually before in the past, probably about a year ago, a little bit more than that, to talk a little bit about your business and how you're doing things and rocket. Hey guys, on the dental monitoring side of things, if you have control of raising that volume, it looks like some people need that volume raised up. I don't have control of that. Let's see. I'm going to check this out again and see if it'll give me that. Yep. Just a moment. Here we go. See if I can do that. Thank you guys for your patience, and we should be back and whatnot, but really haven't delved deep into the idea of dental monitoring. And this webinar, one of my goals was to really help people understand how they can solve one or many problems when they solve one. And I think personally that dental monitoring is a really good way to do that, especially when it comes to the evolution of your office. How have you incorporated monitoring into creating this a digital workflow, which is, you know, kind of a buzzword right now, but I think it's really important for the future of our industry? How have you used dental monitoring as part of your digital workflow inside of your business?
Yeah, it's been it's kind of an extension of our team, really is what it is. You know, and like you said, digital workflow is, you know, every time you see a meeting or a webinar, it's digital workflow. And,
yeah,
you know, what's that really mean? I mean, there's a lot of different aspects to digital workflow. As far as dental monitoring goes, I look at it more as a virtual employer, virtual staff member for us, rather than like a digital workflow or a remote monitoring. Basically, what it is the artificial intelligence within dental monitoring is monitoring our patients every single week. And to kind of take a step sideways for a second, that's actually a great kind of speaking point to our patients, because we have these, especially moms of teenage boys in particular, like, wait, we're going to do clear aligners. They can't even keep track of their jacket at school.
Yeah, totally.
You know, how are they going to do this? And one of the things about dental monitoring is we're able to tell them, you know what, every single week, we're going to be monitoring how things are going for them. We're monitoring if they're wearing their aligners, if the teeth are tracked. We're actually monitoring if their teeth are clean. Yeah. And all this is being done on a weekly basis. So all of a sudden you can see that the moms just kind of go, okay, that's really reassuring, knowing that that's going to happen. So that's been a great extension of our treatment to our patients, and just taking our customer service level even higher. But yet at the same time, it's allowing us to not have patients in our office quite as much, which then frees up more time in our practice to do, you know, multitude of things. And I'm sure we'll get into that as we go on. So,
well, I think that's a really great point that not a lot of people think about, is I look at it as the sales opportunity, right? How do you separate yourself from all the other commodities that are being sold out there? And what you just mentioned is a really great way to help people not see you as just another orthodontist that can straighten teeth or give them aligners, or, you know, even separate yourself from the dentists out there that are doing aligners, to be able to say, no, we're tracking you, mom. We're going to help you be as successful as possible. And patient, we're going to help you hopefully get out of your braces either right on time or maybe even a little bit before, if you work with us through this artificial intelligence.
Exactly. It's taking that unique aspect that you said is absolutely true. It's differentiating yourself from the masses.
Yep.
It's giving a higher level of treatment, a higher level of contact, weekly contact with these people. The ability for them to directly message back and forth with us is remarkable. And I know a lot of us are already doing that anyways, you know, whether it be through Podium or Sesame or you know, whatever system you want to use out there. But as they're taking their scans, they can message to us. They can message to us anytime through the app. We can message right back to them. So that communication level is higher, which then again just differentiates us even further. Yeah, it's a no-brainer to me, as far as just taking that monitoring and using that to enhance your customer service level. I've only been doing it now for 6 months, so I can't sit here and honestly tell you that my treatments are going faster. What I can tell you though is that we're monitoring these people, and when we're getting the message that they're not ready to move to their next aligner, if we weren't monitoring that, they would have already moved to their next aligner.
Right.
And 2-3 aligners down the road, their teeth are not going to be tracking at all. And we won't see them for 8 weeks or however long it was going to be. And by the time we see them, the teeth are off track, the treatment's off the rails. With this monitoring every single week, when it's not tracking, they get held for 3 days and they rescan. And if it's still not quite ready, hold for 3 days and rescan. Typically they're back on track again and they're ready to move to the next one. Let's say worst case scenario, that tooth just doesn't recover and it doesn't track. Instead of us losing 10 weeks of teeth not moving correctly, we're on it right away. They're back in our office and we're rescanning, we're getting that refinement if we have to. I'm not seeing that happen a lot, but there's been a couple cases where that has happened. The numbers that I've seen from other offices that have been using this for a few years, their number of refinements went from on average 3.5 down to 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
That's game changing right there. That is practice changing numbers right there. If you extrapolate that over, say you're doing 300 to 500 aligner patients a year, what would cutting the number of refinements in half do to your practice? What would that do to those patients telling other people about their treatments? That just blew my mind as far as that goes. And I can't wait to get further down the road. So I'm realizing those results too, but we're seeing it already with just how we're able to be on top of the tracking now.
It's a great point. And again, we go back to customer service or customer experience even, and then also as a business owner, how that actually helps you out, not having to be that doctor that's, 8 weeks until the next thing they come in and you're like, wow, I gotta readjust a lot of this stuff. And that's more time and energy and effort out of your hands. But let's turn to a little bit of that. Let's talk about the quality of care that I know a lot of orthodontists, a lot of people are a little concerned about, like, okay, I'm just going to hand over the magic that I do, the secret sauce that is me to this AI. Is that going to diminish the quality of care? And am I just trying to kind of benefit myself by pushing some AI or the appointments down the road? And is it ultimately going to diminish my quality of care that I'm giving to people? And is that going to be reflected in my treatment? How did you kind of wrap your mind around?
Well, I think there's a few things to look at that. We'll unpack that. I think one, turn off your ego, orthodontist.
You can say that a little bit easier than I can right here. So that's great. Thank you.
But they don't want to be in our office. I mean, if you could tell someone, hey, you're going to take this pill and 48 hours, you're going to be straight, you never have to see me again, what would people pay for that? They pay
absolutely
unlimited money. So I think we need to get out of our own way a little bit. For years and years, it's like, you got to see these patients every month or they won't pay you. I think OrthoFi helped, break that whatever the word is, that
conundrum, if you will. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not an English major, so struggle sometimes with words, but at least, you're on a mic all the time. So, you're a little better. I got an excuse. So, but I think that's one. I think we need to realize that we don't have to see these people all the time to deliver quality of care. The people want to have the results. And if we're able to deliver those results, which in my opinion, I think we're going to deliver those results better because we're weekly monitoring it and we're on top of everything, that's what they want. So I think that handing over the magic sauce, you're still in control of the treatment. You're still doing the treatment plan. You're still checking, the approver software and making sure that setup is exactly how it's supposed to be. You're still making sure that the movements that are being programmed with those aligners, if you're using this for aligner treatment, is the way that it should be. The mechanics are sound. If you're doing this with braces and you're monitored with braces, you're still, every time they're in your office, you're changing the wires as you have programmed, you're putting the brackets on. So by doing this monitoring doesn't take away anything that we as the orthodontists are already doing. We're still doing those same things. What it allows us to do is actually be more on top of their treatment, which is better than what we've been giving them, and getting a better result in the long run because we're catching things that aren't then going right. So I think that's a false narrative or a false thought that people would have. I think you're actually taking you're taking your level of treatment from here to here by incorporating this.
I love that. And I love that you see that and see that as such a big benefit to your patients. I also, in my work, I work a lot around the quality of your life, right? As a practitioner, and how that actually reflects into the quality of the service that you give. If you're, frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed out because of the schedule, or because you don't have time with your family or your own hobbies or whatever, that quality of life will actually diminish your quality of care over time, especially inside the office. How has using something like dental monitoring been able to enhance your quality of life, quality of your schedule inside of your office, quality of the team members' lives that they have inside of the office, and how they feel about working inside of your office all the way around?
Yeah, there's a number of levels on that. I, over the last few years, have practiced on average 14.5 days a month in my practice. So 14.5 doctor days in the practice. Starting January, that's going to be 11. I'll be practicing 11 days a month myself, doctor days. So I'm taking 3 additional days a month for me to be out of the practice. Now, the practice is still going to be open partially on the days that I'm not there, with kind of like maybe about a third of our team seeing patients and doing things that they can do without me. But by being able to offload a lot of our appointments that normally we'd be having into the office, by being able to catch things remotely that we would have had to have patients come in for us to catch, or patients that are going to be extending their treatment longer because teeth weren't tracking like they're supposed to. All these things were able to reduce the number of appointments within our practice. Now, for me, there's kind of 2 sides. I've been able to reduce my days, but I live in a state that has a vaccine mandate for healthcare professionals.
Yeah.
I'm not here to debate that, whether you agree or not.
Right.
But it's a fact that in our state, us orthodontists and dental professionals have lost staff members because of that.
Yeah.
We have some people that for various reasons are not getting vaccinated. So I'm actually 3 staff down from where I was in August.
Wow.
We're not slowing our practice down. We're not rehiring because, like the whole country, there's no one to hire out there right now. We've had to reconfigure how we're doing that. I can tell you with 100% certainty, had it not been for dental monitoring, we would not have been able to do this pivot. And we've made a big pivot in how we're running our office. The great thing about this is I needed someone to monitor our dental monitoring. It's a great sentence, but anyways, I needed a virtual assistant. And one of the people that was working in my office is now working from home doing that virtually. So it's really nice to be able to allow that person to still have a job and us to continue being able to carry out our treatments as needed. So by offloading the number of people you have in your building every single day, you have opportunity to either one, run leaner. And so as things like this happen, we have natural attrition with our staffs. You maybe don't have to replace that person. Maybe you can run with less people.
Right.
You can work less days, and that can be both for you and for team members that are looking to work a little less. You can offer some remote jobs for staff that is looking for that. And we have more and more people in our society who are looking to work remotely.
Yeah.
Or it allows you room to grow your practice.
Yeah.
If you have the ability and are looking to grow your practice, all of a sudden you have all this open availability to do that with. So I think it just opens the door of opportunity, and you can go any direction you want with it. And I'm a big fan of having open options and then be able to choose whatever option works best for you. But being tied down and being constricted to this is where you have to go and this is what you have to do, like you said, that's what leads to burnout.
Yeah.
But if you own a business that you have the options to make choices of how you want to do it, that's what then keeps it fresh and keeps it exciting for you.
Absolutely. One of the themes that, I'm trying to get across in this webinar, and when I first reached out to Dental Monitoring talking about is I believe in a kind of choose your own adventure idea. Remember the books when you were a kid, you had to choose your own adventure.
One of my favorites, the undersea one was the favorite. I love the undersea one. Yeah.
I always worried that I was stressed out. Like, what if I choose wrong? What if I, turn the page and I'm dead, type thing. But as a business owner, one of the challenges that comes up as a practice owner is you don't have the luxury of a lot of other entrepreneurs like myself. Like I have the of if I want to take the day off, or if I want to create some sort of system where I'm having residual income coming in, I can do that. You actually have to be there typically to actually make money. But through processes like dental monitoring, having an ability to have a team member who is remote and not actually in the office, or not having to pay for all of those other things that does come along with having a team member in the office. For yourself, being able to take a little more time off because you can spread those patients through, or like you said, maybe you want to double up and you want to grow your practice even more by adding that. Here's another employee that is an AI employee that you can add to it. The point is that you get to choose, and it gives you those options, where I feel like we were talking about this 10, 20 years ago, those options were a lot more limited than they are today, but a digital workflow with something like dental monitoring gives you those options.
Absolutely. I mean, we've always been in the dental profession. If you're not in the mouth, you're not making money.
Yeah.
And you know, I've always laughed. I play golf, not as much as I'd like to, but I always have my buddies. You know, we all have this. Those of you golfers, you know who these people are. They're the financial people, the people that make money off of our money,
Right.
And somehow they never have to go to work, and they're always on the golf course, and they're calling up, hey, we got an open slot, you know, today at 1 o'clock, can you make it? And it's like, I got a whole afternoon of patient schedule.
Right.
And it's not like I can, you know, drop my schedule at a you know, drop of a hat now. Even so, I mean, we're still scheduled.
Sure.
But I am able to schedule out days now that I couldn't before. I don't have to be in the mouth to be making money anymore.
No.
I have dental monitoring is in the mouth and keeping the practice going for us. So yeah, it's freeing us up. And
That's awesome.
And it's great. So I can't say I'm playing any more golf still, but
right. But it gives you the options of, like, especially if you're be thinking out, you know, pushing yourself out a couple of weeks or months, be able to, like, you know what, I'm going to try to schedule some alone time there or some downtime there, but you're not having patients being seen because they're being seen every single week. Exactly. Speaking of patients, how are they, you know, reacting to the monitoring side of things? Obviously, it's a little bit of explanation, it's a little bit of understanding, and it takes compliance from them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our compliance has actually been really, really good. I mean, you know, you got those patients here and there that'll miss scans and stuff, but not a lot. I've been pleasantly surprised with that. Again, the ability to monitor the teenagers and that reassurance to the parents has been really great. That's been a very positive thing. So yeah, the compliance and the follow-through from the patients has been really, really good.
That's cool.
And you know, and I'm always surprised when people don't follow through on stuff, because you know they're paying for this treatment, and it's when they don't, I just kind of scratch my head. But I have to admit, when it came to like doing physical therapy after my knee surgery, I wasn't the greatest either. But yeah, it's been really, really good. And you know, obviously not perfect, it never will be. But I mean, those patients, you know, we weren't monitoring them anyways before we had DM. So
that's true.
You know, anything's a bonus, but yeah, for the most part, we've had really good follow through with everybody.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. And before we go, I just want to know kind of, what do you see? You've been in this for 6 months now, working with dental monitoring, seeing the benefits already, like you talked to us about. What do you see as your future with dental monitoring? How are you going to integrate this, and what changes are you looking to make?
Yeah, so we incorporate it with every single clear aligner patient. There's not a clear aligner patient we don't do it with. So every new start clear aligner patient, we've done it since we started 6 months ago. I haven't done it as much with the braces, although we are doing some. And you know, I had a conversation with another doctor that's doing DM a while ago, and this other doctor said, just from monitoring hygiene alone, I think it's worth doing. And that really kind of turned my thoughts on it. So we are going to start incorporating it more on our patients with braces, which is not a huge part of our practice anymore, but still there. But where I see this going is continuing to allow me to be more free with my time, to allow me to pursue what it is I want to pursue. Right. Now, I do think that the profession of orthodontics is going to be vastly different in 10 years than it is today. And so my associate, soon to be my partner, we've been actively working with other practices to kind of form our own corporation, but we don't want to have 10 doctors running 10 sites. We want to have 3 doctors running 10 sites. And dental monitoring is going to allow us to do that. With taking these days off from my main practice, eventually I'm going to fill those days in another practice. So again, we may not do that, and I may take more time off and spend more time with the family, which is what I'm doing with that time now. But again, we have the option. So that's where I see dental monitoring taking us, is allowing us to do those things and eventually, change the business model of how we do orthodontics.
That's great. That's really, really cool. Well, part of our theme, along with your own adventure, is this idea of, what one domino do you need in your business that can help solve the problem that will solve many other problems? What's the ripple effect that will cause by that one domino being pushed over? And I certainly hope that this is one of those for you, so that you can grow your practice the way that you want, and especially spend more time with your family, on the golf course a little bit more,
Yeah.
and expand your influence on those people in your area. So thank you so much for joining us on this. I really, really appreciate it.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you to Dr. Bill for doing that interview. What I'd like you to do right now is that in your chat area, I'd like you to write down just very quickly off the top of your head, 1 or 2 bits that you got from that interview right there. Because I think Dr. Bill was dropping some bombs there of enlightenment, of understanding of everything from how you can have a digital employee to how you can expand your business to how patients are appreciating it and their compliance and where you can go with this. And even the idea around how it's been a good thing for the way that he has kept the quality of care up. So go ahead and drop inside of the chat there. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, having that digital employee, I think, is a game changer. If you really think about it, we'll talk about that in just a moment. I think every one of your practices can have more employees than you think you can. More off-site employees would be great. Great to hear the wow factor that patients and parents give. Yeah, to give that to them. Digital employees for sure. Oh, that's awesome. So you are a digital or a virtual assistant for a DM working from home. Right. I think that's very, very forward thinking. Reduced doctor days and remote employee is great. Yep. Definitely something that's valuable for everybody. All right. Keep those coming in. As I mentioned to Dr. Bill, as we started, this digital workflow is a nice buzzword that's going on right now. Every event you go to, you're going to talk about what's that digital workflow or digital process and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I think that some people stop at 3D printer or IT scanner. And I really do believe that the faster you embrace all aspects of a digital workflow, the faster that you'll increase your income, the faster that you'll up-level your office culture, and most importantly, the faster that you'll create that work-life freedom that you've always been searching for. And that is really the promise of being an entrepreneur. And one of the challenges that comes up as being an entrepreneur in the ortho space, the dental space, anybody that actually has to be at their job to do it, is this idea of that work-life balance freedom. And yet that's the promise of being an entrepreneur, to be able to create something that you can work on, but not in all the time, as we hear about in the E-Myth. However, unfortunately, I think too many people think too simplistically. Like I said, just getting that iTero scanner or that 3D printer, that's a good start. I mean, that's good. If that's all you have right now, I'm not trying to put you down for that at all. All I'm saying is that's the first domino maybe for you. Okay, well, I can do an iTero scanner. I can do a 3D printer. Like, what can that expand to? And I want you for just a moment, when you combine the idea of what do you want with how can dental monitoring, how can a digital workflow help me get that thing that I want? The digital workflow's purpose, the only purpose for a digital workflow is to make your process easier and more profitable. As we all know, as things are going on in the world right now, especially with what's going to happen, I believe, over the next 18 months with all the inflation that's happening all over the country and all different industries and services, you're going to see that your bottom line is going to get smaller and smaller in the sense of how much you are actually bringing home because the profitability of your business. So you got to find those processes inside of your business that can help you be more profitable. But what do you do when it comes to that patient? See, if you can create this process, again, decommoditize what you do, you create something for the patients that makes it unique, personalized, unexpected, and memorable. Which if you have not read this book or have your team members reading this book, it's called Influence by Dr. Robert Cialdini. And it's a very weird way to spell Cialdini, not weird. I just don't know how to spell Cialdini. So there it is right there. This book is should be a must read for every single one of you. And especially if you have a marketing department, your TC should be reading this book. And one of the main takeaways from what Dr. Cialdini has found in all of his research is that the companies that are winning customers over right now are the companies that can make the process unique, personalized, unexpected, and memorable. And that's what encompasses dental monitoring encompasses all of those things. So how are you doing that for your process and for your digital workflow? The digital workflow needs to encompass all of the workflow from the beginning to the end. And so what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, how can I incorporate digital workflow before, during, and after what we do? Let me just give you some ideas. Like in the beginning, how are you using a digital workflow marketing? And are you marketing the message of time, convenience, and ease? Are you using a digital workflow to pre-screen your patients? How about your new patient exam? I mean, listen, I'm going to do a little bit of a self-indulgence here, but if you haven't got this book yet, Mastering Virtual Consults is my latest book. I have 5 books out there right now, but this book, Mastering Virtual Consults, it's on Amazon. Go get it. Learn how your TCs can actually do a remote. For those of you that have remote employees or want to have a remote employee, you can do a remote exam and close people before they even walk into your office. One of my companies is called My Virtual Start, and that's our process is we help companies actually close exams virtually in 20 minutes. So they're walking in with actually the person's paid as they walk in. And then, there's other processes through that, but go get my Mastering Virtual Consults so that you can understand how you can do that. Are you making it easy for them to say yes before they even walk in the door? Are you making it about them and not about you? And that's a real hard thing. I love that Dr. Bill said that, right? Sometimes we got to get rid of our own ego. But what about the middle part, right? Are you using something like digital dental monitoring to help maximize the engagement that you have with them? So you see, if you can maximize engagement by only having essential appointments, that's where dental monitoring becomes your best friend. That's where you get gratitude from patients of like, oh my gosh, like you're going to let me do most of this at home and I don't have to interrupt my life and I can be off at college and I could be doing this thing and whatever. There's so many reasons behind how this is beneficial to them. As a business owner, as Dr. Bill said, you have that digital employee in a box because that AI is doing the work for you. And one of the cool things that I love when I'm talking with the dental monitoring folks is they're always improving it. Like it's always improving. That's crazy. And listen, if you study anything around Gary Vaynerchuk, Robert Cialdini is definitely another one. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. Can't believe I can't. Kevin O'Leary, like all their conversation, Mark Cuban, all their conversations right now are figure out how you can create that digital employee. Everything is AI offline. How are we going to create that so that you can be a part of what's happening right now? We don't have time to get into this, is that Web 3.0. Well, you can be that person who is ahead of the wave and as evolving your practice. And then lastly, when it comes to simple things like retainer checkups, don't have to be them coming in and wasting time inside of your office. How are you using it to follow up with people? How are you using it, the digital workflow, to actually get more referrals from your patients after the fact? Are you using that system appropriately? You see, your challenge is this, and I'm going to challenge each and every one of you with this. Your challenge as we wrap up here is to get creative and start playing with all the multiple ways that you can incorporate dental monitoring into your workflow to create more freedom in all aspects of your life and business. That's the challenge you have. And as an entrepreneur, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that you get to be creative with it. You get to start and say, you know what if I did this? What would it be? What would it be like if I was able to do this? I want you to start using your imagination. I want you to put that out there of what do I want? I want to spend, let's use Dr. Bill's. I want to only work 11 work days, doctor days a month. I want to be able to go out on the golf course at least twice a month. I want to spend more time with my family and my friends, or sitting around and staring at a wall, whatever it is you want to do. Make sure you know what you want. Reverse engineer that. It's going to take you the ability to get outside your comfort zone. Absolutely. Two things I'm gonna really implore that you do. Get out of that comfort zone. Be willing to be uncomfortable. And before you start on anything, you got to figure out what your why is. You got to know what your why is. Okay. So we're pretty much out of time other than Q&A. I want you guys to be putting any questions you have inside of the box here. I know I went through a lot of stuff really fast. I hope that it served you. I hope you took some nugget away, something that would just be a little bit even at the start of your domino. But if it was part of your domino, that is awesome. I wanted to do this as a service, as a gift, because I really believe in the digital workflow and what you guys can do and what the evolution of your practice can be. Make sure that you are contacting your local reps and asking them more in-depth questions. Look, as you can tell, I didn't go into all of the ins and outs and the workflow of dental monitoring in the sense of what the AI does and all that stuff. Why? Because I don't know. Like, that's not my job. My job is to help you see possibilities with a tool that can help you get more of what you want. Getting more time with your family, getting more peace, more freedom, less frustration, less overwhelm, less stress. That's what these tools are meant to do. So I hope that I was able to give you some of that today. Please feel free to put in, if you have any questions, and I don't know if we are monitoring that, if we have any questions that I can answer.
You know, one that came in a little bit earlier is, how do you get staff buy-in with the adventure you choose?
Awesome. Wow. Great question. So just like a good book, right? You've got to build up the story of why. Where are we going to get? See, people will not buy in to what you're doing unless you can actually give them the vision of where you're going. No one wants to follow someone without a vision. And so buy-in is crucial. And I love that you use that word, because you really do have to get your team members bought in. So communication, really clarifying when we get to do this, then this is how it's going to affect your life personally. This is how it's going to affect you on a scale with your family. This is how growth is going to happen. And give them that picture. Brene Brown has this really great thing that they do in their business where they talk about paint the picture for me. You have to paint the picture for your team members to help them see what's in it for them, right? That old adage, what's in it for me? So you got to help them on that and invite them. You have to ask them directly, hey, you guys, this is where I want to go. I have the idea of I only want to have doctor days a month. Excuse me. I want to spend more time with my family. And we're going to build a practice where you guys are going to be able to make a good income, but we're going to lower the way that we do X, Y, and Z. And this is the picture I see. And when we do that, this is how it's going to affect you in a positive way. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get this and that, and the other. And then because you're doing that, we're going to be able to give this to our patients, and our patients are going to be able to receive that. Paint the picture for them, and then you'll be able to enroll them into your desires and your dreams. All right. Anything else? Any other questions we have out there?
You know, I do not see any other questions in the chat nor the Q&A box at this time.
Awesome. Great. Well, hopefully that means that I did a good enough job explaining things. Let me bring this over here. Oh, great. You're welcome. Janelle said that they had talked about going through Smile Direct Club just to go through the experience. And thank you for that suggestion. And I'm suggesting it definitely on the sense of, I want you to use it as a study guide. That company literally is spending millions of dollars surveying, trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. use their budget against them, because you take that idea, oh, how are they branding themselves in a specific way? What is their follow-up look? Following up both phone, email, and real mail, right? Physical mail. Their packaging looks a certain way. They make it easy. Think about this. This is a company that has been able to get people to go back to something that we've all said, why would anybody do that anymore? Most of you hopefully are not doing the goop anymore. You're doing digital scans. And this is a company who's convinced people, no, the goop is okay. And by the way, you're going to do it, not us. That's pretty fascinating how they do that. So that's where we do that type of stuff. That's awesome. Love it. Okay. Well, that being said, any other questions that you guys with Dental Monitoring have for me, or as a company, or how can I help out, or last minute words?
I think we're good on our end. You've done a fantastic job today, and thank you for staying well past the hour that we allocated. It was such a great story that you told. I'm sure everyone on this webinar is going to go out and figure out what is their adventure, what is their why, and then choose from there.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And you're welcome. And it's Dino, by the way, not Gino, but that's okay. I've been called worse. Thank you so much. And let's see. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, you guys, everybody, let me just say this last parting words. Have an amazing day, first of all. Have an awesome holiday with your friends and family. And if you did one thing over the next 10 days, sit down, figure out, what do you want? And then reverse engineer it. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have an amazing week. Thanks again.